Hi everyone, Dave from Summit Racing with Brett from AutoMeter, and today we're going to talk a lot about gauges and what you need to know to choose the right gauge, and we're going to cover some of AutoMeter's new offerings here. So Brett, thanks for being here today.
It's our pleasure. Thank you.
We were talking earlier about all the different things people need to understand when choosing a gauge, so a lot of the pros and cons of some of the different offerings you have. So what are some key considerations that you would recommend people think about before choosing a gauge?
Sure. A lot of the questions we get is, why do gauges cost different price levels when they're all measuring temperature? Why is a short sweep electric less expensive than some mechanicals? Why is a full sweep stepper motor with peak recall more expensive than a mechanical and electric? And really it comes down to, what am I looking to do? What's the function that I'm looking for? What accuracy level do I need? What's the application in the environment where the gauge is working? Really simply, the mechanical gauge is going to be generally the least expensive, a little more difficult to install, but a lot of them for pressures and temperatures don't need electricity to function. And for the short sweep electric gauges, which are a 90-degree sweep, I believe this one is one of them, covers the 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock on the dial. Comes with a sender and you run a single wire, so the cost effectiveness is good. It's a little easier install. If you want something with like peak recall or memory, flash dial worn or something of that nature, you want to go to a stepper motor design, which is a 270-degree sweep, and it has a sender and a wire harness. So the install is easiest on the electrical gauges, and you get the resolution and accuracy on the full sweep steppers. So it comes down to choice of function and installation convenience.
Okay, and also you have different lighting options as well. Different illumination options. Can you tell us about that, or what somebody might want to think about there?
Sure. With LED through dial illumination, as seen on our Chrono series here, you get a nice, crisp, even illumination. You can have an illuminated pointer. When you step over to a more traditional floodlit incandescent, you're using a light bulb, and the light comes from around the dial instead of through the dial. With a light bulb, you're not going to have an illuminated pointer, but you can swap it out for an LED replacement bulb and get a little brighter illumination, but you might have a slight halo around the circumference where it gets a little darker toward the center.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay. And you guys, obviously, you're great to talk to about this because you offer gauges in so many different styles and you have so many different series. How many different series you guys have now? Do you know off the top of your head? Putting you on the spot here.
Right. I'm going to say 65 was the last count. So if you're looking for a different look for a dash than OEM, we probably have it. If you're looking something that's closer to the OEM that you have and you want a little better performance, we probably have it. If you want to mix and match for your interior colors, we're probably going to have something for you. Anything from a plain black and white dial all the way up to a real carbon fiber dial with white and yellow graphics. We're going to have the options you need.
And now one of the kind of hot ticket items, and we talked about this a little bit, even at last year's SEMA show, is a Chrono series. This is a series of gauge you guys have been promoting lately. What can you tell us about that? What makes that special?
It was, we sat around a table and said, what in our perfect dreams, what would we make? And someone had a really fancy watch on, and we realized that we never did a series that had the feel of a classic timepiece and that could fit into a classic muscle car or maybe a British sports car all at the same time. We noticed on the watch that it had 360-degree graphics and really nice thematic presence. So with the Chrono series, we came out with a 320-degree sweep, nice crisp white LED illumination, and we carried over a more universal look for dual scale, a primary and a secondary scale on pressures and temperatures, and I think we came up with a home run. It's the only gauge in the industry that has a contoured dial, so if you look at it from the side, it actually steps down and it gives a nice three-dimensional look. It has a very unique bezel to it as well. Right now the series comes with microprocessor driven stepper motors, and you'll see that every gauge in there has reset with the exception of the voltmeter, and for a second there it kind of shocked me, but I realized it's reading the voltmeter, the volt display voltage on there. So we're really proud of it and look forward to seeing it in cars.
Yeah, from different sweeps to different styles and lighting styles. You obviously have it all. You guys are synonymous with aftermarket gauges. Another thing that you were pointing out earlier was the Mopar Classic Series gauges, which is something that's kind of new for you guys, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been the choice supplier for licensed product for GM, Ford, and Chrysler for at least 12 years now. And we wanted to refresh our Mopar line, and somebody happened across the classic tricolor Mopar brand and said, why don't we make something that's going to fit into the late 60s to mid 70s look, the A, B, and E body. So we used our traditional Chrome series, which is an incandescent air core meter movement series, and we came out with the Classic series. We're pretty proud of it.
In addition to some of the different styles you also have a lot of direct fit your make model applications. Can you tell us about that?
You know, what we heard from customers is that we'd really like to use AutoMeter, but I just can't find any easy way to install them. I don't want to cut up my original dash. I don't want to destroy my original cluster. So what we did is worked with partners in the industry to use year make model specific applications, whether it be aluminum or ABS plastic thermoformed, and we came out with series in Cobalt, in our Chrono series. In our aluminum dash inserts, we cover 40 years worth of vehicles, year make model specific, and it comes with high beam indicator, left and right turn signals. You get all the mounting hardware. In both the ABS and aluminum series, you'll have wire harness, you'll get senders. For LED series, you'll get a LED lighting dimmer. You'll come with any senders and hardware you need to do the job and make it look right and keep your dash original.
Brett, thanks for being here. This is all great. And
thank you.
Again, some common questions, buying questions that customers might have, and AutoMeter's the place to provide those answers.